you know, there are different situations have happened with different festivals, and Rachel just finished a tenure in LA that included a film that became controversial, which I thought also brought up issues which lawyer George Rush wrote interestingly about in SF360.org recently in the legal column about the sort of responsibilities of a filmmaker showing their film in a festival. Like, for instance, the festival doesn't, you have to clear your copyright. You have to make sure the things you say are true. So maybe Rachel can add a little bit of insight into.
Yeah, I mean, it was such an unusual situation. I'll try and encapsulate it without taking up the entire rest of the panel, because I could probably talk about it for about 5 hours. But we programmed a film called Bananas in our documentary competition, which is a documentary made by a Swedish filmmaker, Fredrik Gertten, who had made a film called Uganda Rising, very well-respected documentary filmmaker. And it told the story of some Nicaraguan workers who, with the help of an LA attorney, were part of the first case in which a US company was sued in Nicaragua, and it was Dole, and it was because of injury to Nicaraguan banana workers who worked in Dole plantations many years ago. Anyway, it's such a complicated story that it's hard for me not to just get caught in the minutia. But basically, once we had programmed the film, maybe 3 weeks before the festival, two things happened almost simultaneously. One was that Dole sent a letter to all our sponsors, not to us, but to our sponsors, attacking the film and threatening to sue us if we showed it. And then the next thing that happened was, the reason that they sent that letter is because in the LA Times was published a story about this lawyer who was the centerpiece of the film, and what made the film interesting because he's sort of an ambulance chaser in LA. And so what made it a great movie is he's kind of like a shady character, but he took up these workers' case and, you know, got them a big settlement, triumphant, even though in the film you see something's kind of strange going on in the court case. But anyway, it comes out in the LA Times that now this judge who's seen two subsequent cases has thrown those two subsequent cases out. The only reason she hasn't thrown out the case in the film is that it's been appealed because a judgment was passed. And that this lawyer, who's the hero of this film, was going to be called up, you know, maybe for disbarment and legal action, and that that's going to happen a week before the festival. So we have to decide what to do, because we, like Film Society, Film Independent, is a filmmaker organization. Not only is there a festival, but we support filmmakers. That's our whole thing. It's the company that sued the MPAA so that indies could send out screeners and have more equal footing. So this is, you know, a company that's not afraid of controversy. So are we going to back down, you know, in the face of Dole trying to sue us? On the other hand, this filmmaker really wanted to premiere the film at the festival, and our board, which is largely made up of filmmakers, was thinking, okay, but now that this film hasn't premiered yet, but it's in the can, is this the whole story? I mean, this is not just Dole threatening us. This is a judge saying there might be something shady going on in the case. Do we want to put this forward if we think maybe, we don't think the filmmaker's unethical, but we think maybe he got taken, and we don't necessarily want to show this film as if it's the truth, if the truth is still unfolding. So to make a long story not short, but at least medium short, in the end we came up with a compromise, which was the most difficult thing to do because it basically made everyone mad at us. So what we said was, we can't just present the film, because that's just like, you know, saying la la la, we don't know anything's still going on. But what we can do is turn this to our advantage and really make it into something interesting. So we said, we're going to show the film as a case study. And what we're going to do is we're going to show the film, but we're going to say beforehand everything that's going on, the fact that Dole has threatened us, you know, what has been going on in court subsequently. And then afterwards, we're going to make it into a real discussion about documentary filmmaking. What are the rights and responsibilities of the filmmaker? And, you know, we felt really good about this, except really it satisfied, I mean, satisfied us in the end, even through the end. But it was, the filmmaker was not happy about it because we had turned it into an event, we felt like we had to take it out of competition, and he felt like we were punishing him. And of course, Dole just didn't want the movie shown no matter what, because the most damning evidence in the film came from the Dole guy on the court. So it didn't, you know, if the lawyer was completely corrupt, they still looked bad. So they were just trying to shut the film down. And you know, it's still going on. Like, there was a hearing 2 days before the festival, and we were all up at like 3 a.m. reading the judgments. But after the film, Dole subpoenaed us but didn't sue us. And it literally could have put the festival out of business, which was why it was such a tough decision whether to go forward or not. And subsequently, the filmmaker has countersued Dole, so the story is still unfolding.